Hi, today I'll be discussing how to make objects in SketchUp, then move them to Crysis Sandbox, and then I'll be discussing how you can make an AI object follow a path. For this tutorial, you're going to need SketchUp, the PlayUp plugin, and also Crysis Sandbox 2. Okay, so the first step is we're going to open up SketchUp and just make a simple object. For mine, I'm going to use a rectangle and then pull this up. So once you have your object, then you're going to need to select it all, right click on it, go make component. Name it something that you're going to remember, as otherwise you're probably going to lose it or forget the name. So I'm going to call this building. So now we go into the plugins tab up the top, PlayUp, and then preferences. So as you can see with mine, I've got Crysis CryEngine 2 selected. Go across the tab. So you're going to need a model export path, which is where you're going to save your models to. Mine's in C, program files, x86, or just program files if you're running 32-bit. And then into Electronic Arts, Crytek, Crysis Wars, and then game, and then into objects, then create your folder. You might need to create an objects folder because it might not be there when you've installed Sandbox 2. Now you're going to need to change your RC path. This is in the local disk, then the program files, Electronic Arts, then in your Crysis folder, then bin32, then RC. Once you have those two, click Save and Exit, and then click OK. Once you have the plugins tab set up, you are going to want to go to the PlayUp toolbar on your SketchUp, click on it, and then what you're going to want to do is just rotate around and check that none of the faces are green. If you do have a green face, all you have to do is click on the face and click reverse face. And then as soon as it's back to normal, then you should be fine with exporting. So now to export, you're going to click on your object, right click, PlayUp tools, and then export selected geometry. Once this comes up, it should be successfully into Crysis. Seeing as now you're into Sandbox, what you want to do is you want to go File, Open, and open a map. I'm going to use one of the preloaded ones from the game as it is, so then I don't have to worry about creating a map. Okay, so once it opens, you will have your map. Then what you want to do is you want to select the Follow Terrain and Snap to Objects tool, go into Entity, go into Physics, Basic Entity, and click and drag it into your map and place it where you want your object to be. Go into the Model tab on Entity Properties, then scan to your folder, mine's already allocated to it, and select the correct model that you had done. Once you get it in, you can select and move it, so you can move it around in any of the axes, so anything along the ground, up and down, or on the floor. And then you've also got the rotate tool to position it properly, and then you can also set its scale. So once you've got these settings right, you have your first object from SketchUp into Crysis in your environment. Thank you. Hi and welcome to part 2 of my tutorial of how to make an AI follow an AI path in Crysis Sandbox 2. So what you're going to want to do is go into your database, then search, and open up the US or whichever people or objects you want to move. For me, I'm going to go into Crew and Officer 1, and then I'm going to drag an officer into my Crysis map. Once he's in, then you're going to want to go to AI path, make sure your Follow Terrain and Snap to Objects is on, and then select the point, click, and then you've got your path start moving. So for mine, I'm just going to loop it around the object I created earlier. and then double click where you want it to end. Then from that, we're going to select the AI we want to follow the path. So my crew officer, go into flow graph, click create something new, call it something like follow path, or whatever you think will be easy to remember it. Now you're going to go add node, and then you're going to go into MISC start, so when the game actually starts this will occur, and then you're going to add another node. You're going to go AI follow path speed stance. And what you're going to want to do is make sure that your officer is selected. Right click on choose entity, assign selected entity, and then output down to sync, and then you're going to want to change the path underscore name to AI path 1, or whatever your path's called.